The name placenta, interesting. I know it means something in terms of the prelude to something.
Yes.
What happens thereafter? What happens once your manifesto is out? Once you achieve then the objectives of the party, what happens to the name?
Anytime a new thing is done, it becomes a precursor for a newer thing.
So you will change the name of the party?
No, it won't change, because after the new thing is birthed, we'll continue the process of birthing. Yeah, the Holy Book says, procreate and multiply. So the process of birth giving continues. So the minute you ban placenta, then you're banning the pregnancy and the labor and the delivery process. So placenta continues, because after giving birth to a new government, we'll give birth to a new level of prosperity, new level of academic capability and ability, inventions and all that.
Okay, see now I like focusing. So let me go to rest. You're a powerful individual in terms of the people who look up to you, and especially women. You said in this endeavor you will then become the vice president. What one thing will you be pushing forward? What one what would you say? Not pushing really, but what one thing that you are passionate about that you will push forward in terms of changing the mindsets of Kenyans?
Well, Placenta Party is committed to keeping Kenya safe and expanding opportunity for all Kenyans. That commitment is reflected in an agenda that emphasizes on strong economic growth, affordable health care to all Kenyans, retirement security, open, honest, and accountable government. And
that's the same as everyone else. What makes your objectives different?
Because we have specifics. Most people usually talk in generalities. It sounds good.
Yeah, you're right.
Yes, but we have a plan. Yeah. Specifics, for example, after 2013, children who have got, under Placenta Party administration, children who have got pre-existing conditions can no longer be denied health care insurance.
You do know there's a plan right now towards that endeavor to have a universal...
I'm glad there's a plan, but there's been many plans, Jimmy. Until I see it happening, I'm going to say we're pushing for this.
Right. So you do support the endeavor being done now?
I do support the endeavor being done now.
Are there weaknesses that you see in terms of that endeavor that you as a party then will say these are the gaps we are seeing?
Well, I haven't looked at it in specific, to be quite honest. What we're working on is what we have in terms of healthcare that I'm pushing very hard. I'm going to be pushing very hard for. When the plan comes out, I'll see it. And once I've looked at the specifics, I can comment further on it. But I have to confess, I haven't looked deeply into the healthcare.
I like what you're saying in terms of, the disparities in terms of poverty levels. Has always been one thing. You've been in the forefront in terms of reading, news to the people and seeing.
It's a terrible thing, Jimmy.
It is, especially.
It's a terrible thing.
I'd love to know what if you can give me specifics in terms of that.
Yeah.
Because it's a good thing to tell the youth finally there's a party that then begins to speak the language of young people. Be specific in terms of, and especially in terms of poverty eradication. And as far as your proposal are concerned,
one thing that's really bothered us is the disparity in terms of economic development for northeastern and the rest of the country. Our Cushitic brothers have always been treated as people from another country altogether, and you'll find Cushitic brothers saying, we're going to Kenya, when they're coming down to Nairobi or its environs. That is wrong. That needs to change. And we are extending an olive branch towards our Cushitic brothers, telling them you're part of Kenya. And he spoke about the irrigation that's going to happen. And I'll focus on agriculture. This is an agricultural country. And once you ignore agriculture, poverty is inevitable. We need to focus on our strengths. Agriculture is going to bring about jobs. It's going to bring about food. It's going to bring about finances. It's going to change the face of this country. We've been focusing on methods and plans that don't really work for this country. Once you ignore the agricultural aspect.
It's interesting because and I'm coming to you, Quincy, sorry. It's looking at me like, where are my questions?
No, I'm always a post-phobic. I'm always
because agriculture has been the mainstay of this country for years.
But look what has happened.
Looking at Vision 2030, they have realized that our Cushitic brothers, in terms of their region, is a lot bigger than agriculture. So perhaps a little more focus on other areas for development, then give room for agriculture.
But there's been very poor management. The plans are all there, but there's been very poor management of those plans.
So is agriculture really the way forward, or do we look at other ways?
Well-managed agriculture. We don't look at other ways when we have not expired what we can do with agriculture in this country. The management has been appalling, Jimmy. You must confess that. There's been a lot of talk. The plans that their Vision 2030 sometimes can be a bit vague as to how they're going to achieve certain things. For example, why is Nairobi River still a filthy river when we have a plant that grows naturally that can cleanse the river? All you need to do is plant it by the side of the river. Marubaini.
Mwarubaini, yes. You obviously haven't been to Nairobi. It's
cleaner now. It's cleaner now. But can you, Jimmy, can you go and drink that water? Can you go and take a cup?
I can swim
and drink that water?
I can swim now.
For me, it's a little late. It's a little late. I'm glad it's happening, and we acknowledge all their efforts. But I'm saying that we can do more. Whatever level they've reached, Placenta Party is in the best place to take us to the next level. Good one. Yes.
Mr. Quincy, here yes, you are. So let me bring the Constitution. That's what we're discussing. That good. We're discussing this morning. We had the church here.
Very good.
The issue has been abortion or capice courts. And I'd love to hear your comments on that as well. Let me throw this one to Quincy. Your thoughts, really, in terms of that.
Concerning what?
About the Constitution. Do you think it's a document finally that we need to put a yes on?
I would regret if someone would think that I'm hating on them, but I would go for a no.
Why?
You know, Jimmy, you know, I've gone through a lot of systematic pain when I was behind the bars. And that's good to me because I have what to tell Kenyans, what's happening behind there. But as for now, first of all, this 48-hour rule in police custody before you are forwarded before a magistrate to prosecute during a plea, I stick to the 24-hour rule.
You know that the draft Constitution actually does address that issue of 48 hours.
Yeah, and I'm against it.
But it has corrected what you're saying, sir.
Oh, it's 24 hours. And I appreciate them for that. And when it comes to Kenya is one of the most unique countries negatively when it comes to prosecution. I oppose this issue of police officer arresting you, confining you for 24 hours, investigating you, and then handing you over to the courts. You meet another police officer in the name of prosecutor. I'm out of this. This is anti-anthem to me.
So you would vote no for this Constitution, yet it has
already. When I'm complaining about one thing, it sinks the whole boat. Now,
because the draft Constitution has corrected what you say.
Yeah.
So it's in terms of how a criminal is handled from arrest to prosecution.
But have they talked about changing the prosecution side?
Yes.
We'd like a lawyer to be the prosecutor, not a police officer to be prosecutor. Now, I oppose that. And, okay, for the Placenta Party of Kenya, I'm the chairman. And the buck stops at me.
Really? Not the people of your party?
No, not really.
Not the members
when it comes to the utmost
for the administration, then the buck stops at you.
Yes.
If he messes up and starts playing the wrong successful in a campaign, that's when the buck stops. But in terms of politics and how the country is governed, well, if I'm a member of Placenta Party, I have a right to say something.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. We are in a critical moment that will reverberate for generations to come. And we see us through these times, and placentas, or rather the placentrio, the top organ of the party, will work to end the wars.
Placentrio, that's what? Placentrio. Oh, I turned 40, I'm a little small. So let me very quickly, as you ponder on that, let me ask your thoughts, basically. Throw this on to both you and Apostle Hellon. The charge is very strong about the no vote. Mutegi was with actually one this morning. Very strong about the no because of the two issues, Kadhi's and the clause on abortion.
I'll take that on.
Please.
I've got a couple of things that I usually talk about when asked this question. So I'll just say that Placenta Party of Kenya, coherently, that is without biasness, upholds its purplicability. That is the strength of a robust two-legged structure for the Kadi courts, because the courts do not by any means interfere with Christian courts.
So you support that inclusion?
Yeah, due to the different rules and regulations that they are uphold to, and they deserve to be given their cultural efficolite. That's how they live. especially if it's not interfering with the rest of the people in criminal issues.